Yeah, hello, welcome to this video. A new 15-minute game played on ICC, and d4 is played. Yeah, okay. Knight f6 because I don't know yet what I'm going to play, and it fits into almost all openings. So what could I play? Yeah, maybe King's Indian. Just yesterday I had a look at a great King's Indian game by Nakamura, and the typical kind of game where you think that white is just winning on the queen side and at the end black is mating. So let's play the King's Indian. Oh, of course d6. Fell asleep here. It's my move, and d6 is the usual choice. Aha, it's the same-ish line. Yeah, here black can play really a wide variety of systems. Yeah, okay, let's castle first. There are some ideas with a quick a6, c6 and b5 which are quite interesting. In those variations it sometimes is useful to delay castling, so after f3 to start with c6 or a6. Yeah, bishop e3 now. Yeah, and again a big choice. c5 by far is the main line nowadays, getting into Benoni, but of course it's a pawn sacrifice with d takes c5, and I don't really know how this is played. Yeah, maybe try for some queenside play. There are some rarer lines that are quite interesting. I go a6 first and ask him, where do you put your kingside pieces? I would play knight bd7, he would have knight h3 and knight f2. The knight, of course, is a constant problem in the Samish variation because, well, f3. So yeah, knight d7 now, maybe. Yeah, of course knight f2 is possible, but my idea then is to go for pardon me, is to go for c5, d5, b5 in style of the Benko. In general, against the Samish, I don't really like for black the e5 setups. I think they must be okay. I mean, Kasparov played it all the time when he was still going for the King's Indian in the 90s and before. He always liked e5 against bishop e3 on the 6th move. Aha, g4. Yeah. This is of course very aggressive, but the question is where does white's king go? I mean, of course I'll go c5, angling for this Benko gambit setup, and I mean, in the Benko black opens up the queen side, so white certainly won't castle long. I mean, this is simply insane. At least after d5, b5. Sometimes you can castle long if white hasn't moved the d pawn yet. Okay, and you short castle after g4. I mean, this doesn't fit together, and therefore, oh, this is really a very, very straightforward approach. Okay. So the question is, should I take on d4 or something else? For example, h5 is a typical move to somewhat stop the kingside play. If I take on d4, he of course needs to retake with the bishop. So, but it's not so clear how to continue. In general, I'm not sure if I want to take. I mean, this d5 b5 idea is really tempting. And as long as this pressure is on here on c5, but maybe he can take on c5 at some point. I'm not sure, really. Complicated. What about a move like rook b8? Yeah, probably he'll play h5 anyway. Okay, come on. I'll spend one move to get rid of the h5 idea by white, and probably I've threatened to take on g4. I can't believe I'm mated. Wow. Yeah, okay, I need to recapture. No need to spend time on this. Yeah, now it's not easy for white to open up the king side. I mean, he needs to get some piece to challenge the knight on h5, so knight ge2 to g3, or knight to f4, and maybe this one, knight to f4, could be a possibility. Yeah, yeah, this is interesting now. I mean, I could even simply take on h6 and take c4, d4, of course. And this should be good for black, really. I could also take on d4 with the bishop, giving up the exchange for great compensation. Yeah, but I simply, why shouldn't I grab this? I don't see it. It's a central pawn after all. It's not like I'm winning the a pawn, but I'm winning d4. Yeah, not sure. Maybe he wants to go knight d5 to f4, but this isn't really great. Yeah, it's simply going directly for mate on h7. If I take on c3, knight g5, knight f6, how do I get mated? I really don't get it. f4, e5, but I've got two knights covering this. All right, but still, let's have a quick look. I mean,
take back requested.
No, come on. Don't tell me you didn't see how that c3 was hanging. Well, okay.
Take back accepted.
It's a 15-minute game, whatever. And probably I'm really just a piece up, so let him play some other move.
Take back requested.
Yeah, okay. He obviously just wants to have some fun at my expense, so then I'll just take it. Alright, so knight g5 coming. Yeah, but I always have knight f6 to cover this, so let's first take this and misplace some of his pieces. So knight e5 or something. Yeah, well, knight g5 is coming. probably the easiest would be queen a5 check. Giving a check and then queen e5 to g7, and it's just over. Maybe another check. If he goes to g2, then I have a possible knight f4 with check. Okay, not queen e3. This is this is covered, but just queen e5. Going to g7. Yeah, should I go to g7? That's probably the easiest. And then knight e5, c5 something. Also knight e5 is a sort of double attack on d3.
Resigns.
Yeah, he just resigned. Yeah, pretty strange game, except especially with the takebacks. I mean, I accepted the takeback, and then he plays another move and wants a takeback again. It's a bit weird. All right, so I'll try to get a new game. This was rather quick, and I'll have another 15-minute game request out and hope to get some game. If I don't get a game in let's say half a minute, I'll try for 5 or 3-minute games to make a video of about half an hour. Yeah, one thing that I'd like to mention is I sometimes get requests for videos in German language, which I simply don't do anymore for the YouTube channel. The audience is simply a bit too small to do this, and I think the English videos should be quite understandable also for the German audience. However, if you like to have German videos, and if you're a member of the ICC, which I can really recommend, then I can point you to a new video series that I'm producing for the ICC, for which the first episode has just been released. So if you're on the ICC, go on the ICC webpage, chessclub.com, watch videos in German, and you get a new starting series by me in German. Okay, I played e4 for a change, and let's see what happens. Actually, it's a 50-minute game, surprisingly, and I don't want. Do I want to get to the main lines with d4? I don't really know them. Yeah, maybe some smaller move here, not so aggressive in comparison, but it's still interesting. Yeah, if you're interested in German videos, then check out the ICC. You need to be a member to watch them. So I don't do them for my channel, but ICC offered me a show every 14 days, so I took this offer, and there you can watch German videos now every 14 days, a new video in German. It will be a large opening series, complete repertoire for black, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. It's just come out, the first video. Alright, so we have a typical Sicilian structure here, a kind of Marozzi bind or hedgehog formation. It's not a pure hedgehog because well, the light squared bishops are off. It would be b6, bishop b7 would be a pure hedgehog. White also has a fianchetto on b2. This is quite a good post for the bishop, but it's not so often that you can actually reach this. Quite often you play f3, bishop e3, something similar, but the bishop is not bad on the long diagonal. Sometimes you can really start something on g7. The bishop on b2 has a good long diagonal. Yeah, black's counterplay, of course, is connected to b5 and d5. It's not so easy though. b5 is protected 3 times now by both knights and the c4 pawn. And d5 is also protected nicely. Yeah, where else? Okay, I'll play a normal looking strengthening move, rook c1. And now white has basically all its pieces developed to decent positions. The question is how to continue. It's actually not so easy, which is a main feature of those hedgehog type positions with d6, e6 against c4, e4, that white has a quite nice space advantage, and at least from a classical point of view should have some advantage. But practice confirms on and on again that this is not so easy with the advantage part, because if you want to really get something concrete going, you need to push more pawns, or place your pieces on some squares that allow counterplay. For example, if I want to generate some pressure on the d6 pawn, which might look weak on the half-open d-file, then I would need to remove the d4 knight, and once this knight moves, b5, for example, gets much easier to play. And if you look at d6, how would I even take it? Yeah, with the bishop on a3 maybe, but you don't really want to give up the bishop on the diagonal. On a3 it is unprotected, and it's really a long way until you even threatening to take this pawn. It's in general not so easy. At least it's far more difficult than it looks, maybe. Yeah, I'm also not quite sure how to continue. Sometimes white's progress is connected with pawn moves like f4, f5, but this is very this is somewhat weakening and very very direct. You cannot take those pawn moves back, obviously. Okay, so how could I play? Is it an idea to use the queen on the king side, like make like queen f3 to g3? Maybe. I mean, the queen is not badly placed here. If I'm on g3, I have actually ideas like knight d5 and knight f5. Okay. He prepares probably bishop to f8. Okay, let's go here. It doesn't threaten much, but it keeps an eye on the d6 pawn and on g7, so sometimes there might be direct attacking ideas. Knight d5, e takes d5, knight f5, for example. Could be an idea. Maybe not immediately, but this is a typical way to attack on g7. If black makes probably play bishop to f8. This looks quite normal, protecting g7. But let's say black makes a zero move. Okay, knight f8. Okay, knight d5. What about knight d5? E d5, knight f5. I'm threatening mate on g7. And I'm threatening the bishop. This is why I wanted to play bishop f8. Knight d5, e5, knight f5. How does he defend this? It's not so easy actually. If he goes knight g6, I can take on e7 and take on f6, and I'm winning really instantly. Knight d5, knight takes d5, I can play knight c6 and also win instantly. At least huge material advantage. So knight d5. Isn't this good? Is there some huge problem with this move? Knight d5, e4, g6, and it's just hanging. I mean, what's name? It's simply winning, right? Let's think about this again. It's 15 minutes after all. No need to rush things. I really don't see a defense. Okay, if it's not working, then I'm just stupid. But it looks crushing. Yeah, I don't see a move really. e7 is also hanging. Okay, he took it, and now knight f5. How does he defend? I don't see a defense. e7 is hanging with check, so he cannot play a covering move for g7 like knight e6 or knight h5 or something. I can just take e7 with check, and c8 is hanging and so on. I see no move. g6 I can just take e7 with check. Knight g6 I take e7. Knight e7, bishop f6, and this threatens mate on g7 and the knight. So I win at least in exchange. Oh, my doorbell is ringing. Just a second. Entschuldigung. So, das liest man ja nicht mehr so hoch. Ich mache gerade ein Video. Warte mal. Das war gleich zu Ende.
Besser als vorher, ne?
Alright, a friend just arrived, so yeah, I'm just waiting for resignation here. I don't see a move anymore. G7 and E7 is just too much. Ist hinten um die Ecke. Da war einer. Yeah, I mean, the only move that prolongs it a bit is knight g6, I would say. But it's not great either. Yeah, I think instead of knight f8, bishop f8 looked like a decent defense. Yeah, no, I just take here. And it's the mate threat on g7 and e7 is hanging, so he pretty much needs to play knight g6. After which I win the exchange. Yeah, rook d8, e takes d5 is just an exchange and the pawn up.
Was ist das denn für F5. Das gewinnt ja meine Oma.
Yeah, there's not much of a defense here. I can probably simply double on the e-file, or c5 is also a possibility to quickly either play c6, getting a pass pawn, or exchange some material. And with this time situation, he could resign this with a clear conscience. But of course he can play on. But there's simply no counterplay at all, so I don't really have anything to comment on here. Yeah, well, the critical position was probably here, where he should play bishop f8, or any other move he can also play. Yeah, moves like g6 or rook e8 or whatever. Yeah, but I think bishop f8 is the most logical. After this knight f8, I think knight d5 probably just wins. I don't know if he can defend here. Knight takes d5 here, knight c6 is also over. So, and this was the relatively best defense, but it's just an exchange and a pawn. Yeah, well, he's down to 4 minutes something. Yeah, okay, b5. Probably just c5 to get a passed c pawn or exchange queens here. Should be relatively easy technically. Yeah, I cannot allow c6, so it probably needs to take. And now just take here and take c5. So what's the quickest way to win this? Yeah, probably first make sure to not get back rank mated. Yeah, limiting the knight a bit, and then you can play rook d1 and d6. Use the king over to d4. Maybe rook e8 was somewhat better even, but it's not much of a difference.
Check.
Wow, I was rather thinking king f7. Now the knight doesn't have a square. Okay, so just king up to d4. He cannot move the knight. I mean, to h8, but no other square. Yeah, just here, and now rook c6 next move. Make the d pawn mobile. Yeah, just d6. And then king d5, rook c7, and the d pawn just promotes.
Black resigns.
Yeah, well, as mentioned, I think he should have gone. Here probably just bishop f8 to cover g7, so that there's no immediate business here on the long diagonal. And I think this what he played, this knight f8, just loses to knight d5. Let's do a quick computer check. Yeah, knight d5 plus 2 point something. Yeah, it looked like this. I didn't see any defense. Yeah, alright, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with more videos. Make sure to check out the German videos on ICC if you've got an ICC membership. Yeah, bye.